Geartlinger go.
The joke was already made 3 weeks ago, you scrub! Ow, my scabula!
Hello everybody, GhostGreen1290 here, and welcome back to a very late unboxing and review of the DX Kikai Sentai Zenkaiger Narakiri set, aka the big roleplay set of this year. This set consists of both the Geartlinger as well as the DX Sentai Buckle, and originally I was just going to get the gun and then the the candy toy sets for Varun and Majin. But, however, though, that sold out pretty fast on Tokullectibles' website, so I decided to buckle down and get the deluxe set. So included with the deluxe set, you get, like it suggests, the DX Geartlinger, as well as the Sentai Buckle, and, of course, included as well, you get the very nice Zenkaiger gear, the Zenkaiger gear, the Zenkai Gaon gear, the Zenkai Majin gear, and finally the Zenkai Varun gear. And of course, if you did order this earlier, before March 7th, you also do have the DX Super Red Edition Lupin Ranger gear as well. That is, unless you bought that and watched my previous video explaining it. But, however, though, also in March, not only would you get this, but you would also get the Candy Toy and Gashapon Set 1s for Sentai Gears. So, to put it shortly, this is going to be another Mega Review. So, like with Mega Review fashion, let's go ahead and take a look at the Sentai Gears before anything else. Upon the announcement for the legendary gimmick for this year for Sentai, a lot of people were hoping that it would deliver the same amount of enjoyment and pleasurement from both the Ranger Keys that were released a decade prior and the Red Watches that were released 3 years prior, as well as every other Ultraman gimmick under the sun for the last 5 years. Now, personally, I think they deliver quite nicely with the Sentai Gears because we do have a very decent lineup for the ones released in March. And as I was recording, I do have Candy Toy and Gashapon Set 4s already pre-ordered from Tokullectibles. Unfortunately, though, I do not have Candy Toy and Gashapon Set 2 yet because of the fact that they sold out the second they were announced. So, yeah, unfortunately, I will not be getting any of those anytime soon for the month of April. Hopefully, though, that they will reopen their pre-order windows. But for right now, though, let's go ahead and just take a look at every single Sentai gear individually. As you can see, we've got a very nice chrome finish detail with the metallic paint, as well as the character of the gear depicted on the front, as well as the number to the left side of them. For the ones that are for the core Zenkaigers, we just have their main body type with the number that they're from the Sentai that they're based off of. So Gaon being based on Gao Rangers 25, Zhu Ranger with Zhuran with a nice scarlet metallic red chrome. Majin with a nice hot pink 29 representing Majin Ranger, and Varun with a very nice metallic blue finish, as well as 30 for Bokenger. And Zenkaiger is the most interesting out of the little group here because he is actually in a nice sparkly chrome white finish with 45 representing his team. And on the back of all the Zenkaiger gears, we do have their signature symbol as well as the pin system on the back here, as well as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for the backs of them, because these are the core 5 gears that are going to be used in the Geartlinger a little bit later. We can also report that V stands for Gashapon, C stands for Candy Toy, and bringing back one of the main Sentai gears, B is short for DX. And that's pretty much it for the core Sentai team. And also, as of this recording, I do have the Gear Die Ringer pre-ordered as well, so you will see that in the following month or so. We do have Candy Toy Set 1, and starting off our lineup, we have Go Ranger, Ryu Soldier, and Zenkaiger. And then as for a good start, these are a good start. These are very popular Sentai teams amongst them. The first Sentai season, the last, the 35th anniversary, and one of the last Sentai teams to be adapted into Power Rangers. That's also kind of nice. One thing that I would like to mention is that on the back of the Legend Gears, we actually do get their team symbols and or insignias, whichever one you want to prefer. And they're a very nice chromed out detail as well amongst the black background. I think Geartlinger is definitely my favorites because the tribal coin for the back is on an actual coin basis, so they could have done something like pretty basic. They could have just had a coin and then just had the Tyrannosaurus there, but no, they actually depicted the entirety of it very nicely. And despite it being squished up a little bit or more simplified to fit the back of the Sentai Gears, I think they did this quite nicely. And the overall body shape that is depicted on each of the Sentai Gears representing the Red Rangers is really nice. And the detail is captured beautifully amongst the golden chrome outlining. I mean, looking at Gokaiger's gear, which is a very complicated design, is very much depicted with much justice. And you're probably noticing a little bit of a chrome difference, and that is because the chrome on the Gashapon versions are a lot darker than the ones on the Candy Toy versions. I don't know how well you're picking that up on camera, but the chrome on both of these guys is extremely different. As you can see, it's a little bit darker over here on the Gashapon version, but the Candy Toy version is a lot brighter with a lot more vibrant detailing. So unfortunately, though, this is being divided amongst both waves, so we're not going to see a duplicate of this Sentai gear in the Candy Toys, and we're not going to see a duplicate of this gear in the Gashapon lineup. So there's going to be a mismatch of different colors and qualities. But one thing I would have to complain about is that the chrome on the gears are going to be a little bit easier to chip, unfortunately, from play value. Because I was trying to clean this off because there's like a little speck of dust on it, and I accidentally scratched the chrome on it, as you can see right there. I mean, it's nothing too much to write home about. I mean, these things aren't going to be displayed that often, but it's a bit of a minor nitpick. So here we have the Geartlinger, which has multiple homages to a bunch of different Sentai teams. The main gimmick for the Geartlinger is the Gatling gun on the front, which is an homage to Flashman with the rolling bazooka. We have the bird motif up here at the front, which is supposed to represent Vidorin from Go Ranger, because it was the first quote-unquote mecha for Super Sentai, as well as the rotating gun barrel with the multiple colors of red, blue, yellow, green, and pink. And of course, I've already pointed this out on Twitter and talked to my buddies about it, but every time when I look at this, I can't help but feel like this is representing a lion, because there's a nose right here, there's a mouth here, whiskers, and a huge eye. And you're probably thinking, oh, that's just the design of the feathers, but it's actually incorporated onto the back of it as well, just not painted in with any form of detail at all. I mean, you can argue with me in the comments all you want, but I still see a lion no matter how many times I look at this thing. But moving on, though, we actually do get a really nice little extended piece for dual wielding if you really want to hold it like this for any kickback. And of course, there also are these little wingies that a lot of people assumed that was for display purposes when they first got the Geartlinger. So here it is in action right there. And at first I thought, oh, this is just a display piece, but actually no, this is for more or less for the mecha combination, because we do actually see this in the show. But one thing though I will have to give Bandai props for it is that they actually included like little mini bullet pellets in the side, as if this is like a little magazine clip. And if I'm not mistaken, this is also paying homage to the first few wrist changers that were released during Changeman and Bioman and Flashman, I think, because they came with these little like plastic shooters, and basically they were these little yellow missiles that basically when you flipped open the morpher and just hit a button, it would go flying across the room. And I have a feeling that these little designs are sort of based off of those little shooter pellet thingies from them. Looking back up at the gun, we have Geartlinger in a nice English text, amongst a multitude of colors across the background with purples, yellows, greens, reds, and oranges as well. We have the little thingy on most guns that you think is supposed to pull back, but no, it's stuck in place. But it is a very nice little textured little piece as well. On the back, there's nothing much else to write home about except for probably screw holes and a lot of extra detailing as well. Copyright information, made in China, Bandai of Japan, 2021. And finally, we do have the little button here as well, the on-off switch. And of course, the main gimmick of the Geartlinger is this little crank, which also has a little mini gear here that it can spin around like this, But however, though, no matter how many times you spin, it will always go back to its original position, and it does have the Kikai, the Zenkaiger symbol, as well depicted in a very nice gold crown. But now that we got all that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about the actual functionality of the toy, and that is to turn it on. So turning it on, you get this. And as you can see, there is a lot of thought and a lot of fun playability put into it the second you turn it on. Now, when you hit the trigger, you just get your generic blasting noises. Rapid fire that if you want. If you hold down the trigger, nothing will happen, except for just the common blast noise. That's where the Sentai Gears come in. So now that we got all that out of the way, what you're going to do is you're going to open up this little hatch here. And you're just going to plop the Sentai Gear inside with these little, inside this little cavity area alongside these grooves. So let me just readjust my camera a little bit, like that. So what you're going to do is you're going to plop it in like this, and then you're just going to close the dome like so. And the eyes will light up when the Sentai Gear is inside of it because it will illuminate, and that is your signal to go ahead and cue the transformation. So what you're going to do is you're going to turn the crank, and then the transformation music will start. And when you're ready, you just pull the trigger. And now you've officially transformed into Zenkaiger. Now, pulling the trigger again, you won't get anything new. You just get the same generic attack sound. But if you do hold down the trigger and turn the crank, you get this. And one thing I do want to comment on is that no matter how fast or how slow you turn the crank, it will continue to roll its R's until you are officially done turning it. So let me just go ahead and demo that. That in and of itself is a crazy thing, and that will drive people insane, and I love it. But, yeah, though, I was trying to do this as the transformation was going off, but as you're turning the crank, you can actually see the Sentai Gear being turned with the motion of the crank. So I'm going to do the Buddha thing again, but only for the purpose of showing you the inner mechanisms of the toy. But yeah, that is a really nice little engineering detail as well, because the inner mechanisms actually move the gear as well as you're turning the crank. So that actually adds a little bit more playability to it as well. Now, you do get a finishing attack when you're in the normal Zenkaiger mode. So what you do here is that you just turn the crank as well without touching the trigger. So basically you just do this. And then you just pull the trigger. And there you go. Now, I will be demoing, I will be demoing the other Sentai Gears as well, but they're also all going to be in jump cuts, so that way this video won't be too long or overlap itself. And there you go. There's the core transformation for the main team of Kikai Sentai Zenkaiger. Now, how it works with the mechanisms is that when you turn the crank, the insides, basically the Sentai gears have these like little ridges, like I mentioned earlier. That's basically the pin system for this here. And basically what they do is that basically they ride up on those two little buttons shown here. So I'm going to demo that, so that way you guys can get a better look. So basically it hits it, and when it's ready, basically when it hits those buttons and knows when it's ready, it stops, and then it triggers the transformation because it knows what gear it just scanned. And that's basically how it knows. And it does the same thing for the final attacks as well as what it does with the other side. Because basically the Sentai Gears have two functionalities. We have the main side, and then we have the Kikai side, or in this case the back side of the Sentai Gears. Now basically with the rest of the Zenkaigers, they have the access to go into their animal modes. But Zenkaiser, on the other hand, when you flip his around like this, and you go right into turning the crank, instead of turning into any mecha, it actually activates Zenkai Gattai. Now, unfortunately, I do not have any of the DX mecha on hand, nor do I want to pick them up, except for probably the mini-pl versions. I think that's a really nice little way to do it. We do know that Zenkaiser is going to get his own mecha at some point in the show's future, so that way he can combine with the Core 4 Zenkaigers. But for right now, though, let's go ahead and debut the Big Bang sounds for Juran, Gawon, Majin, and Furun. And that's pretty much it, in terms of the Sentai Gears being used, at least. So, yeah, basically you get a lot of play value when it comes to Kikai sides of all of the Sentai Gears. However, though, the other main reason why people wanted to get it, as well as the other Sentai Gears that do come out, is for the sake of using the Legendary Gears, which is probably what I should be getting to right about now. As you can see, it actually registers the Legendary Gears as those current Sentais. And another thing that's really interesting is when you pull the trigger, you actually get a very special sound that's different from the Core 5 Zenkaigers. Demoing now. That in and of itself is awesome. One more thing, though, that is worth mentioning is that the Kikai side won't do anything aside from giving us the same trumpet sounds and such. But, however, though, we do get a Hisatsu sound as well. Basically, it just gives the trumpet sound as well as Dai Zenkai. It doesn't say Go Ranger or any other Sentai season. So, for the sake of argument, basically, if you put Dai Ranger in, you'll get the same punching sound effect for the special attack as well for the Kikai side. So, as it stands right now, let's just go ahead and debut the rest of the main transformations for the Legend Sentai Gears. nostalgic theme award. Finally, our last gear, Ryu Soldier. Now that we got all of that noise out of the way, where am I going to put all these Sentai Gears? Oh, I forgot. Lunchbox. But yeah, to put it short and simple, this is our quote-unquote gimmick belt, and as you can see, this thing is very reflective in the chrome finish because you can see my entire tripod set up, my phone, and myself in the reflection. But basically, like, what you're supposed to do is that you're supposed to apply pressure to the very top of it, and it's supposed to just fall down. I thought you could just, like, grab the top, and then you would just be able to, like, grab it and then just be able to pull it off. No, you actually have to grab the tab and then pry it off, which is a little bit annoying. But yeah, you can fit up to 6 Sentai Gears in here, so...
You do like that. Just bow, bow. Boom, and boom. For a majority of all the Sentai Gears. Unfortunately, though, the problem as it stands is that you can only hold up to 6 in such a
So you have 6 in the buckle here, and you still got quite a small handful to still out on the display. Now, how I'm going to display the Geartlinger is I'm going to have at least a Sentai Gear inside of it if I want it to be, but the rest is going to stay in here. But unfortunately, without any form of there being like a huge Daiza or like a coin bank or something, this is all that we really have in terms of storage. But hey, I mean, Tokullectibles has been posting on their Twitter that that they might come out with the Daiza, so bug them hard enough, and maybe we can get somebody to make one for us. I'm just kidding, but yeah. It doesn't serve that much of a significance except the whole Sentai Gears, and that's pretty much it, but I'm fine with it. It's a very nice little display buckle, and it's perfect for people who want to do cosplays of any of these Zenkaiger. I do love the Geartlinger. I think it's a very nice little fun toy, and it's very nice, and they definitely been listening to fans because this is a very fun little gun changer from the lackluster gun changers that we had in Loop Hat and Ryu Soldier. Really nice and fun. My only complaint is that when you put the Sentai Gear inside of it, you actually have to, like, forcefully, like, clamp it down, because I thought you could just do this, and then it would close down. But no, you actually have to hold it, and then just, you have to, like, slam it down, and that's pretty much it. I mean, it's going to ruin the plastic for sure, but, like, Bandai's plastic's pretty durable with their toys, except for probably their mechas. But yeah, other than that, I mean, it's a small little gripe. But another thing that is a bit of a gripe, though, is the removal of the said Sentai Gears, because these things are dedicated for smaller children. Yeah, that I know of, and it's probably easier for them to remove the Sentai Gears. But with me having very skinny fingers, you think, oh, it's pretty easy for me to do that, and that they have little finger grooves for you to remove them. But surprisingly, no, it really isn't, because it's very hard to grip onto the Sentai Gears to fully remove them. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could just do that, but it's not recommended. But with that being said, though, let's go ahead and get to the final verdict. So overall, this is a really nice gun changer, like I said, and the deluxe set gives you everything that you want and more in terms of playability, as well as getting the Gashapon sets. If you want to buy it by yourself, that's fine by me, but you're not going to get much play value out of it, aside from a couple of, if you want to hack the initial Geartlinger with the gears that you have, because people have done that with the Sentai Gears, or just completely dismantle it to actually unlock all of the sounds that are included. But other than that, I would highly recommend it for anybody who wants to collect anything that's legend related at all. But as usual, I will leave a link in the description below for Tokullectibles' website for everything that is involving with Zenkaiger, as well as Kamen Rider Saber, yada yada yada. But with that being said, though, guys, thank you so much for watching, and this is Gattai 90 signing out. See you next time.